What is up, my ashamed children? I am ashamed to be here with all y'all ashamed selves to see part 2 of What If Goku Had a Harem Remastered. So if you want to know what happened in the last part, just go check it out. Just remember, I said this in the description of the last part, this is a joke. It's meant to be taken as a joke, and it does fall into all of YouTube's terms of service. So I'm not breaking any rules, you don't have to worry. Nothing sexual is happening, it's family friendly. And yeah, so without further ado, let's get into part 2 of What If Goku Had a Harem. So, if you want to know what happened when we left off, go check out the previous part. But for now, we're gonna get into this. So, we start off where we left off, which is with Goku training with Kami. There's one key difference I decided to make, and I'm gonna be messing with a lot of Dragon Ball story, timeline, and narrative as a whole. For one, Piccolo Jr. Piccolo Jr. will have the aging process of a human. He will start off as a child and grow through his years. And yes, he will be aging around the same as a Saiyan. Get to your prime and just stay in your prime as long as possible. So he's going to be around Trunks' size and age most of the series. Just because I feel like it would make for better narrative, and I really like to do this. So, Goku would start off his training with Kami, this time having a goal to protect his children, knowing that there will always be someone stronger. King Piccolo wasn't stronger, but he was also a villain that did no training. Goku knows if people like that with that pure raw talent exists, if they did a little bit of training, he would have had been no match. He would have lost to that person, so he knows he needs to train even harder. Basically, this is a year before Goku would have originally started his training with Kami. And in this year, he would get the 3 years training done, because he would spend an entire year in the time chamber by himself, and he'd really push it. With a younger Kami also there to help him, he would learn all the ins and outs of Ki. He'd be able to get all the training Kami had for him done, and also, with more training being done with Korin, he had a lot of lessons Kami was prepared to teach him underneath the rug. Also, because of his more potent adaptability, he got there quicker. This is when we cut away to fortune teller Baba. She's sleeping on her crystal ball, oddly just sitting there, when she starts screaming as a snot bubble bursts. Ha ha! She woke up from a nightmare. As she brings herself together and basically remembers what she just saw, she quickly teleports to the other world, where she says to King Yama, King Yama, I had a horrible prophecy of the future. King Yama would want to know what it is, King Yama obviously being the dude at the check-in station in the other world. She would tell him that in a few years, a mortal named Goku's brother would arrive and he'd not be that much of a threat. Being an off-worlder, he'd try something he shouldn't and be killed by the hero, and would also basically just continue. Having killed him pretty easy, he never learned anything about Vegeta and Nappa. And she'd explain that a year after that, 2 other assailants tens of times stronger would arrive, killing Goku and pillaging the world, killing everyone on it and terraforming its surface, basically ruining it. So now that King Yama knows this, tells her she should go to Kami, tell him about this. He needs to train this boy, get him as strong as possible to protect the world. That's when Baba would say, but that's the thing, he's already done Kami's training. What will we do now? Bring me Kami, now. Baba would teleport to the lookout, summoning Kami to the other world, to the check-in station. There, Kami would meet up with King Yama, and King Yama would explain. He'd see that Kami had regained his youth and comment on it, which happened in the last part. Kami would say that it's thanks to his student, but now what do you want? King Yama would explain everything Baba told him, and Baba would show it in her crystal ball. He'd say that it's time for their plan to go through. Basically, Kami would nod, going back to the lookout and contacting Goku, who was currently spending a weekend with his wife and child. Basically, Goku, spending more time in the chamber, had already grown into his pre-time skip look, where he looks more older, more mature, And Kami would say, Goku, the world is in great danger. We need you to come with me. You will be gone for the next few years, but you will come back stronger than you could ever imagine. Goku would happily go with Kami. His power level now, with all this time passed, being around 700, what it would have been at the start of Z. Goku would follow Kami to the other world, where Kami would explain he's going to train with the greater deity here, King Kai, to get stronger. They would show him on Baba's crystal ball his death by not giving his brother a chance. Goku at this point, because of not having this character development earlier, would be like, if I just spared my brother in this future timeline, we would have known they were coming. We could have saved the world. And this is where Goku's gonna get his don't kill people personality from. So, moving on, basically, we're gonna say that Goku is gonna train with King Kai. He's gonna get there a lot quicker because of perfectly knowing how to fly and having infinite energies in the other world, as it's usually considered, getting that blessing from King Yama. When he arrives at King Kai would tell him that he needs to catch the monkey. The training, as in canon, would go by, but it's not as urgent. But Goku feels a necessity to be urgent, to get back to his family, and he explicitly says this multiple times. King Kai, basically respecting this, would give Goku the training as pure as it comes, just trying to help him get over it. Basically, Goku would pick it up rather easily and move through the steps. Goku would spend the next year with King Kai. Obviously, it's something he doesn't want to do but is needed. In this time, Goku has grown leagues stronger and mastered a technique the old Kai created. Actually, more than one. The first technique he was to master was something called the Spirit Bomb, something only a righteous-hearted person can use, and it only affects those that are evil or unpure of intent. Also, another technique that he learned was called the Kaioken. Even though he mastered this technique halfway through, he still needed to truly master it and have the technique not really affect his body, which he did. He completely mastered it and even learned how to teach it to others. The Kai not really having much reason to keep him here, as what else he needs. Goku says that he feels there's something he needs to learn here, something that might help him move great lengths in the future. King Kai, taking this literally because of his personality, would say, "Oh, like teleportation? I can teach you that. I have this technique right here." And he'd use the instant transmission. Goku, being astounded, would say, "I didn't exactly mean that, but that would be helpful." "Oh, you didn't? What did you mean?" "I meant like help me move forward great lengths." "Oh, you meant like grow. Okay. But you want to learn this or what?" "Yeah, sure." Goku, for the next few months, with King Kai already having learned it, would be able to easily teach it to him, and Goku having a lot more control over himself would be more adaptable to learning it. After learning this technique, he was able to travel between King Kai's planet and his wife and child anytime he needed. Yes, before the time skip, he did marry Bulma, but there's still a 2 year time skip, or 2 years before anything really happens, and Trunks had recently turned 1 year old, so it's a celebration that might need to be handled. In other words, let's get back to Piccolo. Piccolo, aging like Trunks basically, is still currently a baby. So if you're wondering how he's still alive and haven't been claimed by nature, it's because in 3 specific characters that aren't usually named or even used are gonna be the key. And those are the 3 demon, or quote unquote, demon clan members we meet in Dragon Ball. They're gonna have taken in Piccolo and are gonna be raising the small child to be like a next demon king, if you know what I mean. So the demon tribe or the demon clan will be basically raising Piccolo. So we don't have to worry about that for a while. Back to Goku, who for the next 2 years is going to be on and off training with Kami. or not Kami, King Kai, sorry. I don't know why I keep saying Kami. But this is like his go-to master at this point. And in another place in the world, after a odd tournament in the King Piccolo saga, Roshi had lost to Goku. This is something I didn't really mention, but it did happen. The other tournament did happen after the original, a year after the original tournament, and Goku was easily able to beat Roshi even in his buff form, because Goku was tens of fold stronger. And Roshi knew that this was a 10 times multiplier thanks to Goku, and knew that he needed to grow stronger if his student was to ever do anything, because he knew the world's greatest threat had to stop, but there might be greater threats ahead. So he decided he's going to become a hermit once again, and leaves his house and friend to Krillin of all people right now, as he needs to go on a cultivating adventure to gather himself and become one with the world. He, in these previous 3 years or 2 years, has been basically becoming one with Ki itself, the flow of energy. He has become somewhat of a guru, if you will. He has really connected with Ki and can do things that others can't. He can actually project himself. He can create constructs like Ki objects, and can even fly and move at extreme speeds using Ki itself, and had started a stretched out version of the routine he would have in Supers. Remember, Roshi and Kami both retain their youth in this one. So, at this point, Kami, or Roshi, is just making himself stronger casually. He feels Goku's presence at the other side of the world and knows that Goku had grown much stronger. So he intensifies his training. But that's going to be it for this episode. I know it's only been a 12-minute episode, but that's all I got that's all I got for Juices in the Tank right now. If you want to see part 3, make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below. Go piss off Gratify by commenting on Iron Man Deku part 3. Yo, Harem is better. Let's go. Hope y'all enjoyed. Peace out.